Skylar Mays, send him off tomorrow, final regular season game. You and I have seen him play a ton of basketball, started calling his games when he was a sophomore at University High as a point guard, playing alongside Wade Sims, and they went on that 3-year state championship run. But Skylar moved on his senior year and went out to Nevada to a prep school before coming back to Baton Rouge and spending the last 4 years at LSU. When you talk Skylar Mays, when you think Skylar Mays, what comes to mind?
The heartbeat of the team. I mean, he's been that for 2 years. Now, Tremont was the best player they had last year, but Skylar's kind of the leader, mainly by example. And when you're talking about going back to high school, watching him play, I watched him play 3 times. And I finally went to you after the second one. I was like, does he ever shoot? And you kind of went, not really. He just drives and lays it up. He can get to the rim whenever he wants in high school. And I'm like, you just can't do that in college. And he wasn't a very good shooter his freshman year. He developed into a really nice shooter because he worked so hard, tirelessly. And this is a guy who his legacy here will be he played on the team that went 2-16 and then was a heartbeat of a team that went 16-2 a couple years later. He's seen as low as it's gotten in our lifetime, and it's gotten to the best conference record they ever had.
I love talking to people around town who are historians about the LSU basketball program, people that are kind of lifers of the program, have seen it since they've been kids, followed it as adults. Randy Lanois is one of those guys. I mean, he used to camp outside of the Ag building to go watch Pistol Pete play, and he's still as engaged in LSU basketball as he was back then. He will tell you to a man, he says that Skylar Mays has made the most improvement from the start to his finish of his career as any player he's ever seen. And when you say that out loud and you think about some of the players that I've just seen come to this program and seen a lot improve, like somebody to me that jumps to mind is Darnell Lazar. I remember Darnell Lazar coming in as a freshman and seeing him like, how is he going to find minutes to leaving? And he was the X factor of that Duke game, that Sweet 16 win in 2006. But when you think about Mays and how much improvement he's made, and I think the shot is the best example of coming out of high school. He just didn't really have one. When he got here as a freshman, he tried to shoot it. He just couldn't do it consistently. And then his junior season, he's one of the best shooters in the league. I mean, really, he's in the discussion now. He's kind of been filtered out of it, but he's in the discussion for the SEC Player of the Year. There's just been more consistent play as of late coming down the stretch. But it'll be a different program without him. You know, it'll be a different team without him, because he gives you so much stability. From a coaching standpoint, you really can't even put a value on how much just refreshment, just the sense of calm he brings you, whether it be from the academic side and knowing he's taking care of his business, to the leadership inside of the locker room, to on the floor, everything running through him. So if nothing else, tomorrow, a great send-off for Skylar Mays, who will be one of 4 seniors that will be honored. Marlon Taylor will be another one. Marshall Graves, who was a high school teammate of both he and Wade Sims. Actually, Wade Sims' roommate. And then the late Wade Sims will be the 4th with Miss Faye and Wayne down on the court. So it should be a pretty cool atmosphere. The 1 o'clock tip-off's a little weird, a little clunky in the middle of the day. That's the SEC network, and LSU's just really not been on the good side.
Yeah, you want those 5 o'clock Saturday tips.
Maybe a 5 or a 6:30.
That's the best. They didn't really get any of that this year. I do want to circle back one thing on Skylar. You know, when we think about what coaches have to do, you've got to go recruit. You've got to set up a game plan, hire a staff. There's a lot of things that go into coaching, but one of the things they have to do is monitor everyone they've got on the team. Now, in football, it's 85 guys on scholarship and another 20-something walk-ons. And in baseball, you've got the 30 guys. In basketball, it's shorter, it's 12. But you got to worry about what those guys are doing on and off the floor all the time. You don't have to worry about Skylar. You don't have to worry about him getting in trouble. You don't have to worry about him skipping class. Or he's going to do everything right, and he's going to make sure everybody else does everything right. And there's something to be said for that. It's not something we consider all the time. But, I mean, think about what the football coaches have to deal with all summer. Are these guys going to walk a straight line? That's something you never have to worry about with Skylar. He's one of your best players and has been for 3 years. And 2, he's going to do everything right.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about where this program was a year ago, exactly 1 year ago, who was the face that you thought of? I mean, it wasn't Tony Bedford, right? I mean, it wasn't one of the coaches. It was Skylar Mays. I mean, he was the guy that was bringing some stability to the program. And somebody writes in, an anonymous user, Jalen Cook will help people move past Skylar Mays. He's going to be a good one. He's going to be a good one, but I don't think you could ever replace Mays and just the full encompassing weight that he brings a program. Everything. I mean, he checks every single box as far as what you're looking for in a prospect. Everything of development, graduating, on the floor production, off the field, off the floor leadership, in the community, a face of the community. Skylar Mays was so fun to watch. Fantastic student athlete for LSU, and tomorrow he'll be recognized as one of 4 seniors on Senior Day, so it'll be cool to send him off tomorrow versus Georgia.